I made a game in 7 days, and it's a visual novel. I've always liked the idea of creating games, mixing different types of art into one project always felt magical, but ironically I had never actually finished anything. Sure, I toyed with a few engines before and even made a tiny space shooter once, but nothing more than experiments. So I finally decided I would make a game in 7 days with almost no experience and see how far I could push myself. Programming an entire game while also making all the visuals in 7 days? Yeah, that wasn't happening. So a visual novel felt perfect, simple structure, dialogue driven, and a good excuse to write, something Kid Me always dreamed about. I also draw. I'm not Van Gogh, but I know my way around the canvas. Still, lately, digital art has been burning me out. A lot. And here's the plot twist. I had tried making a visual novel game just 1 week earlier. I quit on day 2 because the art frustrated me so much. So dealing with my own burnout was already part of the challenge. But this time, quitting wasn't an option. These 2 days were chaotic. I wasn't even home, so I couldn't really work on the game. All I could do was loosely sketch ideas in my notes. The game needed to be short, but with something to reflect on, something that lingered a little. So I went running for references, revisiting some of my favorite visual novels, Valhalla, Doki Doki Literature Club, Katawa Shoujo, and even considered Papers, Please as mechanical inspiration, but quickly realized that it was way too complex for a 7-day sprint. As for the game engine, the choice was obvious, Ren'Py. Simple, clean, practical. Exactly what I needed with the time I had. Meanwhile, the theme started forming. The game would take place on an international travel train, with the protagonist working in the train's cafe. I liked the idea of playing with passenger and temporary, a little pun about how people pass their lives. Not much progress beyond that, just car ideas waiting to become something real. I finally got home and organized everything. I got a visual reference and defined the main mechanic, a snack choosing system in the cafe. There would be 2 clients with opposite personalities and 5 snacks to choose from. Based on the conversation, you'd offer a snack that fit them best. Get both right, good ending. Miss one, bad ending. Originally, each snack would have a small poem describing the feeling it evoked, something the cafe system wrote, but after wrestling with Ren'Py and several errors, I shelved the idea for the sake of my sanity. I made each food very distinct to avoid confusion, wrote first the script, and ended the day feeling a bit more grounded. This was the day I finally got my hands dirty. I wrote more of the script, but when the words stopped flowing, I switched to visuals and tried making the cafe background. I built a simple base in Blender and began painting over it, only for the result to look tragic. That confirmed what I already suspected. I was exhausted with digital painting. So I searched for alternatives and had an idea. Since I was already planning to make the characters' portraits in pixel art, why not also make the backgrounds in pixel art? For my first attempt at pixel art, the background turned out strangely cute. I even tried animating it, and please don't inspect that too closely. I also dove deeper into Ren'Py, tested a few things, broke everything, fixed everything, and slowly got the beginning of the game running. Oh, and since I wanted to make everything by myself, I watched a music theory video to try composing the soundtrack. The video said it was pretty simple. It was not. I closed it immediately. I had passed the halfway point with barely any solid content, so I dedicated this day to the visual side. After watching a couple pixel art tutorials, I started with the cafe assistant, Mel, a 17-year-old girl. I opened the sprite, checked my reference, and began scribbling. And honestly, working with a new art style felt refreshing. It turned out simple, but expressive. To avoid making countless expression sprites, I created a tiny idle animation of her gently bobbing up and down. Feeling encouraged, I moved on to the first client, an elegant older woman. Her sprite came together just as smoothly. During playtest, I realized I needed images for specific short scenes. Since I couldn't draw everything, I edited photos in Photopea using the same palette. Nothing impressive, but good enough for quick moments. This was the toughest day. I started feeling disconnected from the project, like I was forcing myself to finish something I wasn't even sure I liked anymore. The dropped ideas, the shortcuts, the pressure, it all made the game feel shallow. But then I remembered why I was doing this. I had never finished a single project in my life, despite calling myself an artist for as long as I can remember. And that thought hit me harder than anything else. Done is better than perfect. That phrase saved my game. Perfectionism and self-pressure are deadly. Unfortunately, I only had the realization late into the night, so I didn't get much done besides making the last character, a little boy with a cute cap and a simple design. Using simple pixel art instead of digital painting might have been the best decision of the entire week. I went to bed unsure if I liked the project, but certain that I would finish it. Because of the stress from the previous days, the final day arrived with a lot still missing, so I entered full speed mode. I couldn't make my own music, trying to learn that on top of everything else would have broken me. So I searched for royalty-free tracks that matched the vibe. I'm not fully satisfied with them, but they work. I finished the script, implemented all dialogue, set up the endings, adjusted the UI, polished the menu, and made the game icon. Small things, but enough to finally cross the finish line. And after all that, I still don't know if I love the final result. But what I do know is better done than perfect. Or in this case, better done than abandoned. First projects aren't masterpieces, they're stepping stones. And despite everything, I'm genuinely happy that I finally finished something. If you want to try the game, All Passengers link is in the description. It takes about 15 minutes to play. Thank you so much, and now that the first step is taken, stay tuned for what comes next.